This is my story, my name is JD, trying to look for a chick to call me baby. I'ma treat her well, cause I swear that don't
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Shootin' Straight, a handball podcast with JD and Max. It's been putting on almost 3 years since we last went on your airwaves. Max, tell us a little bit, how you've been since we've last connected.
3 years, dude. That's nuts. Um, Honestly, it's been kind of rough for me from like a handball perspective. I've played very little handball over the last 3 years. I've done almost nothing. And I'd like to fix that. I moved all over the country for grad school, for post grad school, and I'm in Nowheresville, California right now. And I'm moving back to the Midwest in June, and I'd like to start playing again.
It's great. It's great to hear. And, we've obviously done some other shows. In the meantime, we've, interviewed some Olympians and some great.
That was a time, JD.
Yes, that was a unique experience, and it wouldn't be Shooting Straight handball without some technical difficulties here as we lost your video feed. But
Oh, was my video supposed to stay on? I didn't know yours was on.
oh,
Oh,
mine is on because I'm on OBS, so a little background noise there for everybody.
you know what? You know what? I have taken care of this.
Okay, so as our normal situation, as we used to do it, topics down below. So we'll cover some ground here. No guests tonight, but we have rumors that we'll have some guests on a recurring basis here for some interesting intel of sorts. So
And I think people are going to be very happy. They see the current landscape, and there's one media organization, and I won't say them by name or whoever may work there, and that's it. And that's the whole handball landscape. And I think us two are in a unique position to drop good information on people, inform the public, and have a recurring interview with, quite frankly, the best guest you can get in the handball community.
so moving along here, let's get started because we wanted to keep this a tight 30, tight. So uh, we wanted to talk about some college nationals action. Did you tune in to watch any of it?
I watched 10 minutes of a D2 game. OSU Gray.
Beautiful, beautiful. Gray used to be your squad. So what you think of that 10 minutes then?
I ran that stuff like the name. I mean, they're different from when I played. I think they're much more talented. They're more skill players. They did the same as when I was there result wise, but that's new.
Yep, I would say all in all, it was a bit of a chaotic college nationals. Boots on the ground there. Um, James Madison, beautiful campus. Great venue, great rec center. None of the courts were official sized, so none of them were the proper length. Not a single one. One of the courts had goals that fell apart mid game. Um, so that's a classic Buckeye Fall Classic move right there. And then not to mention there was no plan for streaming any of the games. So
Yeah,
my phone
Facebook.
my phone was used for one of the courts for the entire weekend. So yeah, so that was less than ideal. Um, I think part of it goes into who the hosts. What is it? The local organizing committee. I think they said they were going to do a little bit more than they actually did. So I'll leave it at that. But as far as the handball competition goes, saw a lot of crazy competitive games in all divisions. So D1 had some upsets as well as some games you'd expect to see, but teams beat teams that you didn't think they'd beat, and then so it was a little bit of a who's got the better squad for that matchup and in that moment. And in D2, we saw newcomers Kentucky. I should finish the D1. West Point Black defeated Carolina in the final.
As
So
per usual.
yep, nothing to really
Not our year
report
this year,
there.
JD.
Far from it. So it's less than ideal for the Buckeyes, but we don't have time to get into that. We can do a whole separate show on that. But as far as D2 goes, newcomers, the Kentucky Wildcats, who combined with Cincinnati and some Purdue players for this season. They also combined with Marietta for this Nationals. They were the team to beat, and they took care of business the whole way to the championship, defeating James Madison in the final for D2. Shout out Kentucky, shout out Jacob and
he's done great. Good friend of the program.
Yeah, big hats off to them, and to, they praised their coach quite a bit there. So he was not able to be at Nationals, but they still were able to make it happen. So big hats off to the Wildcats. I would say that the Marietta players that did play for them, Quentin Sheets, a Columbus local, he's the punter on the Marietta football team. He, in the one game that I watched, came off the bench, played in like a 4-minute span, had like 3 steals and 4 goals. So I was like, that's pretty good stat line for coming off the bench. But and then on the women's side, I'm pretty sure Carolina, they took home the title on the women's side. That Carolina women's team was stacked with a lot of depth, so no shocker there. So I don't know if you have anything else to touch on the college nationals front.
Yeah, I have one trivia question, JD. What happened the last time I was at James Madison?
So the last time you were at James Madison was a tragic event for the Ohio State handball. No.
Wrong.
No, this is when you would have been playing with Johns Hopkins. No?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
OSU wasn't there though, were they?
No. So I don't remember.
I went to James Madison twice. I went once with Hopkins, and then once where I won the Battle for the Crown.
Oh, that's right. The hodgepodge. Nyack, Detroit, SSC, LIT.
One of the greatest tournaments of all time, in which they also did not have full courts.
Yep. So, Battle for the Crown. I forgot about that. That's true. It was, you guys had quite the squad. I think you had to play in the championship game, right?
I did play clutch minutes in the championship game after 2 red cards, and we won. One thing on college nationals, and I've said this for a long time now. My thoughts are very clear on this, and I was talking to NBC. Unfortunately, things just didn't work out. I'm going to try again next year. The key to growing handball, in my opinion, right now, is college nationals. And I think it was just a shame that, organizing committee, let I'm not putting blame on anyone. The fact that they weren't streamed, let alone, streamed professionally. If we want to grow this sport, as we have seen with dodgeball and social media and other small sports, especially rugby, we need nationals to be way bigger. We need it to be streamed, if not televised, and we need social media presence. And quite frankly, I didn't do an OSU social media presence. I wasn't there. I'd like to be there in the future and doing that. But we need a central body that is doing that, and that didn't happen. Yeah,
and we can talk about Mike and Matt Collins and US2 Handball's efforts toward it, and obviously it's a bit complicated.
Yeah, and I'm not faulting them either. It's a much more macro issue.
Well, I think that it's we can get to that. Obviously, it's a whole another podcast in of itself, I think, to dissect it. But I will say this much before we transition: is that the older members of the handball community, they say we can't broadcast. The quality of the product is not where it needs to be, and I completely disagree. If you look at the...
Have you watched ESPN The Ocho? I frequently do.
If you look
we are right in line.
Any of the, like the dodgeball, national championship that was electrifying. I mean, an incredible finish.
I watched it.
I would say you could, pound for pound, any one of those athletes in D1 is better than any of the people that were competing in that national championship game. And it's just like...
Yeah, and I mean, we played the dodgeball team. Great time.
Yes.
I love Felix.
Yes.
But, come on.
It is a different game.
It's not great handball from a European sense, sure, but that's not what we're selling. We are selling handball in America.
Yes. So we got to get over that and get the word out there. I think part of it's the optics for, viewership. You look at the production. I talked to Felix about what the cost was for the dodgeball production. Do you know how much it cost them?
20?
No. It's $3,000.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'd
exactly.
spend
That's
3 grand.
right.
What?
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Dude, it looked fully perfect.
and that was to fly the guy out there to run it included. So
Oh, we've had to deal with that
yeah,
recently.
we did. We're not gonna. We'll get into that. We'll get into that
No,
here
no,
with the
no, no,
next
no.
topic. Club Nationals in Bettendorf, 4 Quad Cities, Iowa, Davenport, Moline.
Here's
What are
a
the
trivia
four
question for you,
cities? Yeah,
JD. Oh, okay, I do know the 4 cities. Um, Davenport, Beckendorf, Sioux City, right?
I don't know.
I don't know the fourth.
I think it's
Let's
Moline.
Google it.
Moline,
Oh,
Moline,
Moline, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Moline, Moline.
Oh no, I was wrong. It's not Sioux City. It's Rock Island and Moline. Wow. Okay.
Rock Island, is that a
What Ohio
prison?
State basketball player is from Bettendorf, Iowa?
Current? Oh,
Not current.
any. Oh, jeez.
There's only been one that I'm aware of ever.
I'm trying to think of who would have been from Iowa. Is he
He was a
white?
5-star recruit.
5-star recruit.
He is
Jeez.
not.
Oh man, from
He is
Iowa?
currently in the NBA.
No.
Toronto Raptor DJ Carton, who played half
Dang.
a season at Ohio State before transferring.
I didn't realize he was in the NBA. Good for him. That was...
He averaged 0.8 points a game.
Okay. Well,
Anyway, sorry.
that
for
was
the,
quite the.
pardon the interruption.
That was quite the.
You know what? I'll be the first to say it, JD. I think the Quad Cities is far better than Spokane. I'm not going. I have a pre-scheduled trip to Japan. If I didn't, I'd go. But, putting it in the center of the country makes a lot of sense to me.
I think from an optics standpoint, Iowa is still Iowa. I will say
Yeah,
that
I mean,
much.
it's never going to be amazing optics, but Spokane or Iowa.
Yeah, and I think part of the frustration is like when I think of a handball tournament weekend, I'm gonna play handball. I'm gonna watch handball. I don't know that I really care that much about the auxiliary items associated with it. Like for instance, Spokane, you could go hike. You could go do some nature walks or
But you're
whatever.
not. You're playing 8 handball games in 2
Yeah,
days.
and
You're
it's
tired as hell and
it's
you're
the
icing.
same thing with Myrtle Beach. Like, okay, I can go sit on the
Yeah.
beach, I guess.
I
But
don't care.
I don't.
And this is
I
why
don't know.
still the best nationals I've ever been to is fake nationals in Adrian College.
Yeah, yeah, that was a
We had nothing to
grand
do
old
all day,
time.
but we didn't need anything. We just wanted to play handball.
Yep. Hope was even better because we had beach nationals at the same time. So you could, here's my shirt. You can't see me, but I'm wearing my national championship shirt, TAHC national championship. But yeah, I don't know. Like Barry really wanted to have nationals at Cedar Point, so that families could go. It would come with a free pass to Cedar Point. I'm like, no one's gonna have time to go to Cedar Point when they're in the middle of like a tournament. So
Do you think Barry listens to this? He sits
no.
down for a cup of coffee and is
No.
like, I wonder what the handball community is
not
up to.
not a chance. Not a chance.
Okay, then I can shit talk him. Very dumb idea, Barry.
But yeah, I mean, I think the situation is that they were originally going to have it in Charlotte, which is, I think, a more centrally located for the clubs that we got, and probably a better,
I'd say Charlotte's a top tier location.
hub for
Easy
for
airport.
flights. Yeah, exactly. It's actually, I just read, probably one of the busiest airports in the country.
Yeah, it's American Airlines' main hub at this point.
But I think the problem is that any of the West Coast teams are going to have to fly no matter what. And from talking with people, it sounds like you can actually get to the Quad Cities at a decent price for flights. So it's really, I don't know. You could fly into Chicago. You can fly directly into there.
Yeah.
And
It's easy driving distance from Chicago.
Yeah.
It's a super easy drive. I've done it.
so not trying to like benefit it or anything like that. I'm not going because I think the planning was also poor because you can't pick every weekend to be perfect, but to have your national championship on Mother's Day, similar to college nationals on Easter, like regardless of where you stand, whether you have a mom or a wife or whatever.
I do have a mom.
Yeah, it's tough to fight that one. So I will be spending it at Greenfield Village in Dearborn, Michigan. Familiar?
We've been there many times.
Yep. Habibi or no, Shisha. No. What's our restaurant? Oh no.
Shisha. It's
Shisha. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, Sheba Grill.
Sheba.
Yeah, free
Yes.
advertisement. Sheba
Shout
Grill,
out Sheba.
Dearborn, Michigan. Oh
Um,
my lord, that food is good. We
Yemenis.
have
Yes.
eaten them out of everything many times.
Um, but
Julie's going up to Dearborn.
no,
Is that what I'm hearing?
no.
Oh, okay.
Brad Dad's got a season pass, so Thomas the Train's coming to town, so we're gonna go hang out with Thomas the Train.
Okay.
Yep. But anyways, should expect quite a few teams. I think they have 25 teams going to Iowa. So we'll see what
Are they using ringers again?
Oh, I don't have any idea. I don't know. So I can't tell you though that Mike's got a lot of, I don't know, he's got a pretty good setup as far as the extracurriculars go. That there's like a golf course and a Top Golf next door that he's getting the like party set up for, and I don't know, it sounds like he's trying to make the best of a bad situation. But yeah, the Charlotte situation, they pulled the rug out from him like basically right before he was about to sign, and so then he already made commitments to people that he was going to get the word out by X date, and Iowa was just sitting there. So yeah.
Yeah, and I mean stuff happens, especially in a smaller sport like this. I'm not gonna be the man for that. It's far better than Spokane. And I think the thing that we see consistently in Mike is that unlike previous administrations, not calling anyone out, just like previous and like since I've been in the community for 10 years now, is that he actually cares and he tries. And a lot of times we've had people who care or people who try, but we haven't had someone that does both necessarily.
Yeah, and I think there's people that have cared, but yeah, caring and trying that's an interesting one, because I think focus has been sucked into other areas, and I would say this much, I think part of the trying and caring conversation goes back to like college nationals. Like there was an event, one of your major events for the year, and there was not a lot of care put into that. There was trying at the last minute, but there wasn't a lot of care. And that's just because I think there's differing opinions on what the college game is and should be. So,
yeah.
We'll get to that, but I give Mike a hard time on that all the time, and he knows where it's at, and I think that's where he gets frustrated with it. But
I'd like to see, if I'll throw something out here, a college board, 5 people run the college game, commissioners, whatever the board chair is the commissioner, what you call it, a college board governs the college sport, sets rules, and then also responsible for things like streaming nationals, promoting nationals, things like that. I know we had committees before.
Yep.
But the problem with committees is there's no buy-in, no one cares, no one ever meets.
Well, I can tell you this
Have a
much:
board.
we can just do it right here on the show, and we can just call it a day.
We probably should.
Like
we could just call you commissioner and make it a day.
I think there's people that would want to be commissioner. I'm not asking to be commissioner. I think there's one man in particular that would want to be commissioner.
Who?
He lives in Colorado, and
Done.
he loves college handball.
That being passed over as commissioner.
Yeah. He's been passed over because of many things, many a time.
But I'm not gonna razz on him. I
John
like you very much.
John cares.
John, I know you're listening. Even John would be a great commissioner. At this point, someone who is passionate and will invest the hours is something we have.
We just need someone to drive, and I don't have time to drive. Yeah. I can give consulting and whatever else, but I'm not gonna drive people. So as long as we have people who try and care, then that's the.
Well, let's ask our next guest about that.
Okay, so moving along here, because we're trying to keep this under 30 minutes as we approach our 20-minute mark. So the big topic of the week, Max, and part of what got us back into getting this show rocking and rolling. Do you want to break down the news for people? Because I would imagine still most of the handball community is unaware of the situation.
Yeah, and I think this will break it to the handball community. And this was actually broken by Handball Nation.
Are you familiar?
It looks like I am not.
Okay.
Not familiar. Haven't seen anything. They have a Substack, it looks like. They tagged you, John Ryan, USATH, CNN, and Fox News in this tweet. So it's a wonder that it wasn't picked up.
Quite the spread of
people. Quite the pairing. But, and this was, I saw this because he retweeted it. I'll read it out. Breaking news. USA Wheelchair Handball athlete Jeff Townsend was arrested in Clemson, South Carolina on 10 counts of sexual exploitation of a minor. Handball Nation is the first handball media organization to report this, and we have published our investigation below. Just pretty startling. First of all, you don't think that's true because you've never heard of this account before, the organization.
Yeah.
It's written by an Alexandra Pierce, their senior investigative correspondent.
Who's
big title.
Yeah, okay.
And I mean, this is shocking. I didn't think it was true. Why would I think that was true? So I Googled Jeff Townsend, and it turns out he's the assistant captain of the wheelchair team, their second top scorer at the World Championships. Kind of older than I thought. And a pedophile. It's completely real. Like this account scooped John Ryan. This account scooped everyone, and just broke news that really is fundamentally shattering to a new part of the handball community and growing rapidly.
Yeah, you look at the success that USA Wheelchair Handball has had since its inception here.
More success than any other USA handball sport in a long time.
to
Probably ever.
Literally come from nothing to second place at the World Championship in a matter of, semantics on when you think they actually started, but I would legitimately say 3 months. Like they went from not existing to winning or finishing second at the World Championship in 3 to 4 months. So
with this guy Jeff being a core part of it.
So to have that success and then to have something like this come out, and not just us with USD handball, but Clemson. I mean that's a major institution in of itself as well. So there's some levels of we messed up all across the board.
See, we have messed up in the States. I don't think we messed up. I think he messed up, and it made us look like we messed up. I am sure if someone on that team had saw his phone, that there would be the feds knocking at the door, but that didn't happen. And JD, we never once questioned the wheelchair team. We were strident supporters of them. They did great at the World Championship. I was really proud of them, and it just kind of breaks my heart to see this happen.
Yeah, and I know that I'll touch on this in a little bit as far as growing the wheelchair aspect of the game. But have you ever watched any wheelchair action?
I have not.
Okay.
I've watched wheelchair basketball.
Okay, so wheelchair handball is very similar to beach handball in that you get 2 points for a 360, you get 2 points for a goalie goal. It's 4-on-4, so it's a lot of rolling around. I still need to talk to Finch.
A lot of rolling around. Thank you, JD.
Still need to talk to Finch about which Finch is the assistant coach. I don't know if you knew that.
I did know that. My old teammate, Eric Finch, who never once screamed at me for not throwing accurately in a practice line.
I need to ask him what the rules are.
Coughing fit caused by Eric Finch.
Dying over here. I need to ask him about the dribbling situation because I still don't understand what is really needed to be done there. But, the wheelchair thing has really taken off. I know when I was in Trondheim in Norway for, the USA tune-up matches before the 2023 World Championship, Roger and I saw 2 wheelchair club teams in Norway face off against each other in between one of the games. And it was really cool. I mean, they had a lot of people there. It was big support. And so Roger and I are putting on the World Series of Handball in Las Vegas at the Westgate Casino once again, similar to last year. And we have a wheelchair team from Norway that's planning to come, whether they find a team or not.
Whoa.
So I am desperately trying to find them some competition. So if any wheelchair teams are out there, get on down to Westgate and let's get it happening. So.
And of course, I cannot make that either, but I wish I could.
Yeah, it's okay. It'll be a good time.
Next year. I'm moving like the week before. Once again,
right. Bad timing.
Yeah.
I will say playing inside a casino has its, benefits and drawbacks, but last year was a great time had by pretty much everybody. There's maybe a few people that I think would have complaints.
I've heard the best reviews of any tournament ever.
I can't say that. We had a lot of issues with the stream, a lot of issues with management of who's doing what. So we'll get that ironed out here. But from a fun standpoint, you play a game, you go over, you got blackjack table right there. You got the pool right there. You got, I was talking with Brian Buchanan. He went and played, the golf course, and it was 100 and some degrees out, but they had people out there with towels and misters and keeping them cool, and it's a PGA golf course that they have access to. So
yeah. And that's the exact type of self-contained thing we were talking about with nationals earlier. Like the best, most successful tournaments are self-contained. They insist upon themselves.
Yeah. So, there's a lot of good stuff coming down the pipe here, and we'll see how things shake up. But for those of you that aren't aware yet, but get your word out right now to come out to Las Vegas, July 4th weekend. So if you don't have plans yet, lock it down. We got a lot of teams coming in. We have a team from Guatemala. That's a news break there.
That's a first for us.
I don't know that I've ever had any club teams from Guatemala compete in the United States, so that'll be cool. Like I said, we got some wheelchair teams. We got some teams from Norway, getting some teams from Sweden. We got Rogers trying to get the Faroe Islands national team. So we got every little bit of everything.
I got to see Roger again. I love that guy.
He's a 101. He would be a good guest, I think, for the show here.
Yeah, let's get him on. JD, this was a great intro episode. Like a nice recap of what's been going on the last few months, set the scene for what's to come. And I think everyone listening, you will want to turn into our next episode. Tune in.
So, yep, we'll try to keep everybody up to speed on what's going on with the handball world. Closing little remarks, we had a tournament this past weekend in your old stomping grounds in Milwaukee. Where they, I don't know if you saw this or not, but they retired the Ryan Peterson number 12 jersey. How does that make you feel?
Can I say a little thing on
that? Yes.
I first played with Ryan Peterson in 2016 at Nationals, where I played for Milwaukee United. I was 18 years old. I was very scrawny. I was not very good. He treated me with the utmost respect. He has been nothing but incredibly nice and kind to me throughout my career, like a mentor figure. He welcomed me with open arms in Milwaukee when I moved to Wisconsin. He is a tremendous player. His 9-meter shot, I said this on Facebook, his 9-meter shot was deadly. A tremendous person, and I think he did an awesome thing in retiring, given no one ever retires, even when they're like 70 here. And we're going to miss playing with him, but I can't wait to, keep seeing him and keep working with him.
Yeah, I love Ryan as one of the few, born and raised American diehards that we have in this. I would say he along with like Ross Minor and Joey, we're all kind of in that same boat. So we'll see what he's got, his side projects that he's working on with his company that it's doing pretty well. So if you guys need jerseys or anything like that, go check out. I think it's Frontier Sports or Frontier. I think maybe it's just Frontier. I forget what it's called.
Talk to Ryan. Get set up. New jerseys for your team. They look great. We're not being paid a commission. We probably should be. Can we get like JD or 25?
We'll see. Yeah, we'll get a promo code out there. I still have to respond to him about the Armada and Ohio State stuff.
But I like the Armada ones a lot.
Yeah. So cool stuff there. But the tournament was Milwaukee, the college all-star team, Minnesota, and Chicago. I didn't really get to watch any of it, but looking at the scores, there were some pretty high-scoring games.
The All-Stars did not do well.
I think the All-Stars did what they would do with the roster that they took. They took 3 goalies and only had 7 players. So, and one of those players was Mike King. So, can't really count him as a college All-Star. But
if they'd let me on the team, JD, things would have gone down.
Sure. Yeah, 3 goalies. Again, I'll put that on the plate. So there's 2 guys from SUNY Cortland, a guy from Pittsburgh, guy from James Madison, North Carolina, and 2 guys from Miami. So a little good
kind
mix.
Kind of a dearth of people from the actual best handball school in the country.
Yeah. Well, I think it was people were invited and people declined the offer. So there was supposed to be a lot more teams on that list, but I'll tell you this much: as the owner of the Armada, I will tell you that we almost sent a team here to this Iowa Nationals tournament, but I had Mark Ortega change it to compete under the iHandball name. just for your sake, but they're going to be scary good. They have 3 or 4 West Point guys. They have a guy from the Cuban.
Can we get them to shout out the Armada?
They have a
instead of just
guy from the
handball?
Cuban national team.
Oh,
Um,
jeez.
and
Is that allowed still? I know
I
they have
think
some difficulties.
he defected, is what Mark tells me.
Oh,
So
okay.
whatever that
I didn't know
means.
if he already defected, then he's good. Yeah.
Okay.
Because the Cuban team, just every tournament they go to, just all of them defect, and they just have to get a new team. It's really funny.
It's crazy, crazy,
I
crazy.
fully support it. It's just very funny.
So, so keep an eye out for the iHandball / Armada / collection of any people with able-bodied arms and legs to compete there. So, yeah, that's all I got here for this first show. Like we said, we just wanted to touch base with everybody and get the word out that we're gonna get back in the action.
I want you to get the word out that we back up. We will come here live, not live, with a guest next week that will blow your minds. We will get handball out and proud, and we're making our mark back. Well, you've been back. I'm making my mark back.
All right, great. Well, that's all I have here. I don't even remember what our closing line was. Oh my gosh.
Keep on shooting straight.
Yeah, keep on
Shooters.
shooting, shooters.
Oh, sweet Jay. Hey, we got to talk about New Jersey.
This is my story. My name is JD. Trying to look for